Hey, what's going on, guys? Seth here from Slacker Media, coming at you with another vinyl pickups video. Like I said in the first one, kind of new to the vinyl hobby. I've been picking up a lot of records, thought it would be cool to show them off. Got a decent stack here. I think I have like 6 or 7 titles to show off in this video, so let's get to it. I got some from, various genres. It's kind of a grab bag of records here, so let's get to it. All right, first up here, one of my favorite bands of all time. I love this album. It's from 1990. I would say this is probably this band's most well-received work, or their most popular. That is Violator from Depeche Mode. Like I said, 1990, spawned a lot of hits. Enjoy the Silence, Personal Jesus. A lot of people know this record. They know the songs that come off this record. Love Depeche Mode. Right around the time I got into The Cure, like when I think I was like 14 or 15, for some reason I kind of gravitated towards the 80s and late 80s, early 90s, and I discovered Depeche Mode. Love this kind of sound. They have a really unique sound to them. Always been one of my favorites. Actually recently checked it off the bucket list of being able to see Depeche Mode. They came here to Phoenix at the Auction Pavilion. They put on a hell of a show. I love Depeche Mode. Just like, with a lot of my other favorite bands, I enjoy pretty much all their records, but I definitely think this is, right up there with their best. That is Violator. All right, next up, I actually just got this one the other day. Really enjoy this album. Reminds me of my youth, being 12, 13 years old. This came out in 2002. Motion City soundtrack, I Am the Movie. Weird kind of, I don't know what you would really categorize this band as. It's kind of like a poppy sort of sound, but they're definitely a rock band. Enjoy this album though a whole lot. I remember seeing it back in the day. Fuse, The Future Freaks Me Out, my favorite Accident. A lot of really great tracks off this one. This albums like this are not something that you need to go out of your way to have on vinyl for the amazing sound. It's not like you're really getting a huge sound quality by picking up this, early 2000s album on vinyl, but I like to go through and get the records that I really love, and this is one of them. So that is I Am the Movie. I actually think this was Motion City Soundtrack's best album, so really enjoy this one. Okay, next up, I honestly don't really know a whole lot about this. I can't talk about it too in depth. This is from 2014. This band is War of Ages. This is their album Supreme Chaos. I do enjoy War of Ages. I remember getting into them, 2007, 2008. Really like that. They were part of Face Down Records. I believe they still are on Face Down Records. They're still around, still doing their thing. I found this in the clearance bin though at our local Zia. It kind of stuck out to me. I'm like, oh shit, War of Ages. Haven't heard any of their stuff in a while. Picked this up. Kind of interesting metalcore sound. They're pretty melodic. They have a lot of catchy songs. I really enjoyed their album Pride of the Wicked. I think that was the first or second album they put out. But I listened through this real quick. I mean, it's the War of Ages sound I remember from being younger. So this is a fun one. It's Supreme Chaos. All right, so next up we're going to move on to some rap. I do listen to a little bit of rap. I'm very selective about some of the newer stuff, though. I like a lot of, the older rap, like Ghetto Boys and stuff like that, and, De La Soul and that sort of stuff. But when it comes to newer rappers, I'm kind of very selective. I just don't think a lot of it's very good. I do really enjoy this guy, though. That is Earl Sweatshirt, and this is his album Doris. Earl Sweatshirt, famously part of the Odd Future crew from years back, Tyler, the Creator, those guys. I mean, I won't lie, I was kind of into that back in the day, but I always thought in terms of like rapping ability that Earl was hands down the best. And there was that whole mystery about him being missing. Where'd he go? When he finally returned, though, he was at like some boarding school in Samoa. He returned, released this album, and it was highly anticipated because people could tell from his early stuff that this guy's got a lot of talent, and this is a damn good album. Really like a lot of the tracks on here. I enjoy his work. I mean, it's great young rapping talent. I hope we see a little bit more from him, but this guy's got a lot of potential, I think. I mean, if he really stays focused and continues to produce, he could really be up there with some of the high class rappers. So that is Earl Sweatshirt, Doris. Hell of an album if you're into rap. I would highly recommend it. All right, really excited about this one. I was going to save this for the end, but let's just talk about it now. This is, I would probably say this is my favorite album of all time. Actually, I'm confident in saying that. This is my favorite album of all time. Discovered this when I was kind of, I don't know, I think I was like really just starting to get into, rock music. I was probably 13 at the time, but even then I could tell that it was great, and to this day, I still listen to it over and over again. It's just one of those albums that just amazing. That is Coheed and Cambria and Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3, progressive rock masterpiece. Coheed and Cambria's, man, I mean, it's, you know, it's like a love it or hate it type of band. I think some people are turned off by Claudio's high-pitched voice. I love that, though. I think that is, you know, such a unique thing, and I'll never forget first discovering these guys. I love most of their work. You know, their album before the Second Stage Turbine Blade is also great. Hard to find on vinyl nowadays. I mean, unless you want to pay quite a bit for it, but got this one at Amoeba in Hollywood. No-brainer for me. Love this record. It's, you know, can listen to it front to back. I think every song is of equal quality. I mean, a really high praise for this. I was actually lucky enough to see Coheed perform this in its entirety on the Never Ender tour in Chicago. But I mean, God, looking at the back of this, it just, all these songs, I love them so much, so good. Such a great band. I enjoy all their work to this day. You know, I still get excited when Coheed and Cambria puts out a new record, but really, if you're into progressive rock and you've kind of avoided these guys, or you don't really know much about them, highly recommend it. Also, they have a cool thing going on with them. It's like a concept band. You know, there's a big story, comic books that accompany them, the Amory Wars, a lot of cool like lore and stuff to know about Coheed and Cambria. But this record is total masterpiece. And Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3, love this. Easily my most played of all my records. I play this one all the time. So damn good. Alright, so going along with the Coheed and Cambria theme, I have their follow-up to In Keeping Secrets. This is Good Apollo on Burning Star 4, Volume 1, From Fear Through the Eyes of Madness. It's a mouthful. Another great album. And, you know, I remember when this came out, I was looking forward to it so much because of how much I loved their previous. And, yeah, I think this is the album that kind of brought Coheed into more of a mainstream audience. You know, Welcome Home was played all over. It's in Guitar Hero, and, you know, everyone knows that song. And The Suffering, that was, I remember seeing that on TRL, and I thought it was a little surreal. I'm thinking, wow, Coheed's on MTV, you know, this is crazy. But I enjoyed this one, not as much as In Keeping Secrets, but I think this is right up there with their best. You know, so epic. My personal favorite track on this is the very last one, The Final Cut. I mean, man, long badass track, just epic shredding going on in that one. But yeah, fun album. You know, like I said, everyone knows Welcome Home. That's become like a really famous song, you know, even just from Guitar Hero Rock Band or whatever. But yeah, I mean, had to grab this. Like I said, it's right up there. I would probably put this as my third favorite Coheed album, so it's a must grab. All right, next up, I think this is 2005. I could be wrong, sorry if I am, but that is Beck Huero. Is that how you say it?
Sounds right.
That's how you say it, Huero. You know, I like Beck. Not a huge Beck fan, but I enjoy this record. I remember seeing this on TV a bunch, E-Pro and Hell Yes, a lot of these songs. You know, Beck is an interesting guy. I think he's kind of an enigma. I've always kind of been fascinated with his work. So, you know, I got this for cheap on Amazon. You know, why not? That's Beck Huero. All right, and finally, last vinyl pickup for this update. From the band AFI, this is my favorite album that they've done. Had to grab this first over any of their other stuff. That is The Art of Drowning from 2000. AFI is an interesting band. Their sound has definitely progressed over the years, which I think, you know, I think that's the way a band should be. I know people have kind of given them a hard time for their changing sound, but I understand why bands do that. You know, you don't want to keep putting out the same sort of stuff over and over again. So bands change, I understand. But out of all the stuff they've done, this is the one that I love going back to. Such a high energy, awesome album. You know, I still kind of keep in touch with what AFI is doing nowadays, but you know, I'm not as interested as I once was. But this album's great. They have a few others that I really enjoy too that I'm gonna have to pick up. But I think this is kind of their must own out of all the AFI discography. So that is The Art of Drowning. Great album. Alright guys, that does it for another vinyl pickups video. Curious to hear what you guys think about any of these albums. Let me know any recommendations based off what I showed you. Maybe there's some bands or artists you can recommend me that I might like. Always am down for that. I love discovering new music. Thank you guys for watching. Always appreciate it. See ya.